Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is my second video. I'm shooting it just after my first video. And I thought, well, I'm in the whim, I'm sat here, I might as well do another video. So this is going to be a what I'm reading and kind of a book review, or a book recommendation would probably be the best way to describe it. So I'm currently reading Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is the second time I am reading this. I fell in love with it so much when I first read it that I thought I'd read it again. And I've literally, like, last week finished Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Rhys, which is kind of like a prequel to, an unofficial prequel to Jane Eyre. It follows one of the characters in the book, like, when she's a child, but it isn't Jane Eyre. So how I read Jane Eyre was it was Christmas 2016, and I watched a TV movie called To Walk Invisible, which followed the Bronte sisters, Charlotte, Emily and Anne, and their brother Branwell, and it captured not the earlier life, but their, how they started to write novels, and Charlotte went on to write Jane Eyre. The film captures, or like screenshots kind of, the time in their life where they started to write the novels. Charlotte Bronte wrote Jane Eyre and other novels. Emily went on to write Wuthering Heights, and Anne Bronte, the youngest one, went on to write The Tenant of Wildflower Hall, which I've also read at the middle of this year. So I was watching To Walk Invisible, and I think Jane Eyre is the only book really mentioned in the movie. She starts writing it, and when her dad is in Leeds getting an eye operation, I think. So I was like, hey, I'll start with that book. So I bought it and read it, and it was hard to get into, only because I wasn't that big of a reader, not as much as I am now. So I downloaded the audiobook from Audible, and just listened to that while I was reading. Just one, so I got more out of it. Also because of the vocabulary that's used as well, because there's a lot of French in the book, because Jane Eyre goes on to being the governess of a little French girl. So I read Jane Eyre and finished it around March last year, March-April time, and I got really emotional when I finished it, because it was the first proper book that I've actually read and actually liked and actually got into the story. And when I was going to work, I'd be like, oh, I can't wait to get home so I can read Jane Eyre. And then somebody I knew or know recommended Wide Sargasso Sea, so that's how I read that, or a year later. So yeah, I don't know if Jane Eyre, I haven't read that many classics, so I don't know if it's the easiest novel to start with, but I would recommend it. I didn't find it that hard to read, and I'm reading it without the audiobook now, so I would recommend it. It is just over 400 pages at 407 pages, so it's not that big of a book really, and the text isn't that big anyway, or that small, so I would recommend it. I don't really know what else to say, just because I don't want to give spoilers, but it basically follows a young girl called Jane Eyre, and it follows her from when she's around 10 years old, right up to adulthood, and then just the different obstacles that she has to face, moving to, like, from her aunt's house to the school that she attends, and then she's the teacher there, and then she is the governess for Adele, like I mentioned before. So it just follows her and the different struggles that she has to face. it's quite dark in some places. What I like about it as well is that it's not, it doesn't, I think it would be a success today, like if it was written today and not in the early 1800s, just because it deals with, Jane Eyre isn't your typical Victorian woman. Like, when I think of Victorian women, like Victorians are like my favourite era ever. I think of like very timid and shy and like only speak when they're spoken to, and you know, they wouldn't like talk back to their husbands and elders and stuff. But Jane Eyre is one that is like, well, no, if somebody upsets me, I'm gonna tell them about it. And that does come across as rude, but it's not, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. And I think somebody said that she was like the first feminist or something, and she's probably one of the first Victorian women to actually like stand her ground and say, no, this isn't right, you know, speak to me like a human being, don't speak to me like a machine. And yeah, I really, as I said before, I really enjoyed this book and would recommend it to anybody who wants to read a classic or just looking for a book to read. And I will do a full book review once I've finished it to, you know, refresh my memory, and there will be spoilers in that one. I don't want this video to be a spoiler video, because, you know, I want you to enjoy the book and be surprised in the places where I was surprised. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm really sorry if I am absolutely rubbish at this whole thing. I hope to get better at it. I will get better at it because, you know, practice makes perfect. Probably take a long time for me to be perfect, but hey. But yeah, definitely recommend this book, and let me know what you guys think. If you've read this book before, please let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it, what you didn't enjoy about it, your favourite part, and I will look forward to reading them if anybody actually comments on them. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope I get better at this whole talking to a camera on my own thing. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.